What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am your guide for this fantastical journey we're about to embark on. And I'm joined by two men that just got out of hair and makeup about 15 seconds before we hit the record button. That's right, I work with prima donnas, but their names are still Joe Day and EP Eric Pahalik. How you doing, boys?
If I need hair and makeup and still look like this, that's not great.
I mean, people should just be thankful that they don't see you without your hair and makeup.
That's true. That's true. Or me without a hat. That's also not a great. That's also not a great video or picture. So I'm cracking open a ginger ale today. For those of you who joined us last night, we did a little live stream. I think we each cracked open about 4 or 5 beers. So, but we had so much fun last night. Mike has coffee. EP does not get hungover, so he's good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
But we had a great time last night. It was a hoot. Thanks to everyone who came out. We had, 10, 12 people in at one point, but a lot of people were asking questions and
just a little bit fewer than Sports Card Radio gets.
Just a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's like them, us.
We're right there.
We'll take our people though. That was fun.
We had more fun with the people we had in there, I think, than they have with all the people they have.
Yep.
They have a lot of idiots who show up.
They do. So we were talking potentially about maybe doing a once a month thing, like just to hang out, or once every so often, and maybe advertise a little bit in advance. Doing something fun with that. Yeah, I had a great time. But 4 or 5 beers, I'm feeling kind of rough the next day. And I cracked open. So if anyone is interested, I cracked open a couple of boxes at the very beginning of Fleer Ultra Avengers. So hit up the live videos.
That was fun.
It was fun. I went through a couple of, the one box was great. The second box actually had all the good stuff in it. The first box was pretty bad. And then EP opened up possibly.
Speaking of bad boxes,
the worst box. His biggest hit, he dropped. It's just, his second biggest hit was a player who's no longer with us for his own reasons. Lawrence Phillips numbered to 100 refractor. So yeah, it wasn't great. Wasn't a great box of Bowman.
No, I believe it was probably the worst. I don't have the data, all the data. But I'm pretty sure I can safely say it was the worst box of Bowman 1999 Bowman Chrome football ever opened by any human.
Very well might be. I would back you up on that claim.
None of the refractors were good. I got Champ Bailey and none of the other rookies out of a rookie class where we would all would have marked out at so many players that we could have pulled. Or that I
hit none of the quarterbacks.
None of the quarterbacks. None of the running backs.
None of the wide receivers. None of the running backs. You got a David Boston though.
I got a David Boston at Peerless Price, but those are they didn't have as long in careers as somebody like Torrey Holt. Torrey Holt's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, so.
It was the second worst box I think ever broken on this channel. No offense to Mike.
Third, I think that would be.
Third. Oh yeah, because you opened 2 of them, didn't you?
Opened 2.
I did.
Oof.
Oh yeah.
Could have been worse, EP. You could have paid about $900 more for your box of Bowman.
True.
Yeah. You're still ahead of the game compared to me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but this is episode number 50. 50.
Yeah. 50.
What the 50?
50.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I can't even count that high. I don't
so
know what I'm going to do next week. I don't know what number to put up. I can't count. Oh, yeah. Wow. Kind of a milestone. We're closing in 2 weeks will be 1 year anniversary of the start of the podcast. So
kind of crazy that, a lot of the same people have been along for the whole ride too. Mm-hmm. So we appreciate all those folks. And for the year anniversary, you can see here, I've moved recording area, my recording space. And I'm thinking instead of putting up shelves and cards and comics, I'm thinking I'm just going to leave the tape up. It looks great.
I had the idea. I really think you should spell Joe and painter's tape in the box you have outlined there.
And then take the box out.
Yeah.
And then just have Joe. Yeah, that would
people would know who you were then.
And anybody who ships cards would appreciate it. Because they know the painter's tape. They love the painter's tape, right?
They love the painter's tape. Some people would use packing tape on this wall.
Scotch tape, yeah.
Scotch tape.
All kinds of bad stuff going on there. Oh, well, good stuff we have going on. This Friday, we are going to drop a full-length interview that Joe did with Very Gary Comics. Now, I know some of you watching, probably a lot of you watching, may not be into comic books, but let me tell you, please make sure you watch this interview, whether you're into comic books or into cards. Like, he is a brilliant guy with what he's doing, how he's doing it, but he makes a lot of comments and talks about a lot of stuff that applies to card collecting if you see it that way. And, you know, a lot of stuff about how he builds his own collection of comics. I think there's a lot of good that people who collect cards can take out of it. Plus, just an entertaining guy. Like, he was so much fun. You know, we talked to him before and after the interview. And
he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave.
Yeah, he had a great time. And, you know, he just has a lot of good ideas out there. And I think you can apply them to card collecting.
Yeah, he's very affable. Like, and I feel like, like you said, like there are so many things in life where things that cross over if you really think about it, and it doesn't take much to really think about this one. I would just, you know.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun talking to him, and it all came from, like I mentioned on the live stream last night, I came across some old comic books, really didn't know what to do with them. You know, I know about grading comic books. I own a couple of graded comic books before, but I didn't know about the whole pressing and cleaning and all that stuff. So I literally went to YouTube, typed in how to submit to CGC or how to grade comic books. And his was one of the videos that came up, watched it, and I was hooked. It's appointment television when he posts for me now. So he's definitely a good follow. But yeah, it was a really, really fun interview. Really appreciative. He's one of the busiest guys in any hobby.
Yeah.
And he took a little over an hour out of his day to come talk with us. It's probably about a half-hour interview or so, but yes, please go watch it. We'll be dropping it on Friday. It should be a really fun time.
Okay. I have a little bit of an update. People were asking me. I didn't get to mention it last week because we had an action-packed show, but you know, people know I've been buying into WWE Immaculate Breaks and trying to get the Paul Heyman spot. He has autographs and a base card in it. Now, I've talked about how difficult it is to hit in those, but I wanted to update everybody. I am now 0 for 19 in my attempts to get a Paul Heyman card out of a case break of Immaculate. 0 for 19. 0.
That's a pretty bad batting average.
you're the guy that goes to the blackjack table and just keeps putting $25 chips down, baby. I mean, what is going on here? How much do you think you're in?
Probably about $200, maybe, give or take 25. Yeah.
And didn't you buy a Paul Heyman auto?
I did, yeah.
How much
and a base card.
How much did those cost you combined?
I have under $70 into the base card and the autograph I bought.
But now it's at a point where you gotta keep going, right? You gotta keep entering these breaks. You can't stop.
I'm done.
No.
You're done.
Because my 0 for 19 is only part of the story.
Oh no!
I have another part to the story.
All right, hold on. I have a comfy chair now.
I was talking about the one breaker on Instagram I was using, and I missed the end of the auction for the Heyman spot in one of his breaks. I was buying all of them, and I missed one. Just give you guys one guess at what happened in the one I didn't get.
1-on-1 auto.
Obvious.
Not a 1-on-1 auto, but he did hit an auto.
Man.
Yeah. Should have never watched that. Shouldn't have.
Yeah,
watched
why
that.
were you watching it? Don't watch it. You don't watch it.
Some people like to feel pain just to feel something. So maybe that's what it was.
I just wanted to know. I wanted to feel better knowing that I didn't win it and he didn't hit it. But then he hit it.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Oh, man. That's why I don't buy into breaks.
Let me say wrestling breaks are the worst. Like you have, especially with Panini now and the way they do all the different subsets and the autograph subsets and all the different wrestlers, like you have a very, very minute chance of ever hitting when you buy into those. And I know
this. The checklist? How big's the checklist?
Oh God, I don't even know how big it is, but pretty much any wrestler you can think of, past or present, that was in WWE that had any kind of a name, they pretty much have a spot. And, don't think that because you bought the Mick Foley spot that you get the Cactus Jack card, because a lot of the breakers sell them separately. And I saw that happen. Yeah. Go ahead, Ethan.
I feel like there's probably a space then to figure out a way to make it so there are like in football, something like they'll do like conferences or teams or whatever. Like there's probably a way to do that, but none of the breakers do that because they probably make a lot of money just selling the individuals.
I mean, the thing is too, like the buyers are looking at it and going, "Oh, this is only like $5 to $10," and they have almost no chance of hitting that, but they're looking at it. Oh, it's a low price.
Only a couple of bucks.
Yeah, right. I'll take a chance for that. And you're taking that times like 200. Like, yeah, the breakers, man, I'm sure, are making out money really well on that product. Yeah. And come on, let's be real. Those products are made specifically for breakers, and they know that the breakers, if they throw more names in it, are going to be happier. Like that product is not being made for the wrestling card collector, is being made for the breakers to make money. And I knew that going in. I took a chance anyway. And
you fell into that same trap. It's only a couple bucks. Heyman's only 5, 10, I don't know how much the most you went in for Heyman, but like you're looking at a $5, $10 spot, right? I'm guessing.
Like some of them went for close to 15, but like certain breakers, they went for 15, others they went for 5. You can figure out maybe what was going on there, but yeah, because I had one that was ending after I went to bed, and I put my bid in thinking, okay, I'm going to just put my max bid in. Like literally a minute later, somebody had bid it up, and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, I see.
And it's not like the thing that people always assume is shill bidding, where it's like seconds later, because that's just the bid from the previous person bidding yours up because they had bid him.
I was the high bidder, and then somebody bid it up, and then I bid it one more time, and literally like a minute or two after, somebody bumped it up again, and I was like, yeah, okay, you can have it. I'm not paying $20 for it, but
that's exactly what's happening.
I mean, again, we talk about all the shadiness that goes on in the breaking world, which leads us into our main topic this week. Did TikTok just ban card breaking? Do we know? Does anybody know? I mean,
wait, what's TikTok? Can we stop there?
What is TikTok?
TikTok is a social media platform that uses small video clips of up to 3 minutes for news and comedy and people dancing,
and to cultivate data that the Chinese government can steal, right?
Allegedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the American companies are stealing our data too.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. Why not? Everyone can have it.
You're giving your information to any company, they're taking it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, if you can only do 3 minutes, how can you run a break on TikTok?
They also allow you to do live video.
Oh, okay.
Just stream live video.
Now, can you watch the live video after the live video takes place?
I don't believe so. No, I believe it's once it's gone, it's gone.
Wow. Okay. Well,
that seems like a nice fertile place to scam people.
TikTok announced that they are banning surprise-based product, and that product now must be sports card product must be kept in original packaging until receipt from the consumer. So that would lead me to believe that breaking is now banned, because you cannot open the stuff and sell it opened when it was sealed. But there are differing opinions on that. I know I've seen a lot of videos talking about it being banned. I think the wording pretty clearly does ban it, but EP, you told me this morning that you go on, you can still find breakers breaking.
I actually saw 2 people breaking Pokemon this morning, and that was, you know, they were live. They were breaking Pokemon. That was it. Like you could tell. One was not in American English, so I could not tell what the words the person was saying, but there were stacks of Pokemon cards there, and the person was waiting for people to do things. I could tell at least that. So
waiting for people to do things.
Yeah, I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, I'll leave that one.
So, do you think this is really more an issue of enforcement? Because the first thing that popped into my mind was, okay, you can have a ban, but if you have a live streaming ability, how in the world, with all of the users they have that are using that app to stream, how are you ever going to police that? Do you think it is something that somehow certain people are allowed to do this? Or do you think it's just, well, how are they ever going to stop me? Because they have to figure out I'm doing it live before.
That's what I'm thinking is going on. That's, I mean, because of the amount of users. I mean, it's crazy how many people are on TikTok, and we make fun of EP as kind of our TikTok liaison or whatever, but people
it's coming in handy right now.
Yeah, right now. People spend so much time. I mean, we could go into the whole geopolitical thing of how this company limits the amount of time that people from their country can be on it, but there's no such limitation in America. But beyond that, I mean, there's so many people out there, so many people using it. I mean, how can you enforce this thing? I think let's throw it out there. Let's scare people into thinking they can't do this anymore. And then breakers are just like, well, when they stop me, they stop me. But until then, I'm going to keep going. Why would you stop? Is there any legal enforcement they can come after you with if you keep going?
If they're saying you can't do it, what's the worst thing that's going to happen to you if you do
They're going to tell you
until you get caught and then you can't do it.
Yeah. They'll ban the account. I checked, like I said, well, I was on this morning. I checked a couple things, and I searched card breakers or card breakers, something like that. And there's a huge list, long list. Most of them are like five followers, 35 followers, whatever. But the bigger ones, there's like something like 6,500. Then there's obviously backyard breaks, which they were not live this morning, and everybody knows that they're usually like live 24/7 doing breaks, but they were not live this morning.
On Whatnot.
They're on all the platforms.
I don't on all of them. Okay.
Yeah, they're on everything. But yeah, they were not live. But they were the only one in the entire list with the blue verification check mark. So I would think that the bigger ones like that are probably the ones that are going to get hit more because they're paying attention. They're not going to pay attention to someone with like 30 followers or 5 followers or whatever.
And the ones that are worried about actually being banned are probably selling sealed products as well, right? So they don't want to get banned from TikTok because they can still sell sealed products, which Mike, I mean, if anyone watched the live stream, Mike showed you the perfect way how to open up a pack and then reseal it. So this has to be Cracker Jack. Just has to be a Cracker Jack pack. But,
let's not put out to the world that I'm showing people how to do that. That was all for comedic effect. Let me take that right here. Yeah.
Pack resealing expert, Michael.
You just said use some Scotch tape. No one will notice. But hopefully, in all seriousness, the problem
is though, like satire doesn't really play to a lot of people because there are a lot of dumb people.
There are a lot of dumb people.
When I'm satirically talking about that, it might go over people's heads. But
that's
satire.
It's all a joke. It's all a joke.
I will pull the plug on this show right now.
Right before we get to 52. Right before
I have the ability to cancel this at any time.
We've been canceled, EP. But no, yeah, I think in all seriousness, I think the people that are actually worried about getting caught are those bigger accounts who are selling sealed products as well, and they don't want to lose that revenue stream. And they can break elsewhere. I don't know why it's a big deal. I mean, Whatnot's still a thing, right? I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure they can sell and whatnot and other platforms. So
and I think that's kind of like Whatnot is for, right? Like it was kind of created just for that. Where
it absolutely is. Yeah.
Gary does auctions on Whatnot, actually, comic book auctions on Whatnot all the time. He doesn't use eBay. He finds that platform better for him because of the fee structure is different. I have no idea what the actual fee structure is. Comment below if you do, but yeah, I mean, if you can still use that platform, you know, why risk another platform?
Well, I mean, also
another platform.
Also comment below if you're a breaker that uses TikTok. The thing about TikTok is like you said, Joe, the user base is so huge. Like you're gonna be able to, you're gonna have a lot of potential customers on there that a lot of people are gonna lose because of the spam.
Yeah. One of the things I've seen brought up, and we brought this up when we talked about breaking a couple weeks ago, is the legality of everything because of the access that children have to all of this stuff. I mean, there's no debate that breaking is gambling. The people who want to try to say it isn't are like, I was reading a comment section on somebody else's video, and the same guy was the only guy there commenting on everybody else's comments about, well, it's people's money. They're allowed to do with it what they want. No, I can't go buy a brick of Coke with my own money and make it legal. Like,
satire, everyone. That is satire.
I said I can't do it.
Oh, okay.
I won't.
Not legally. That's my point. Just because you could do something with that money doesn't make it legal.
Was that guy commenting on everyone's stuff? Was that Grant's burner account from Backyard Breaks?
It might be very possible. Yeah,
it's at the very least it's a breaker coming in and telling people.
This is a big problem with breaking. Like, I don't think children should be able to have access to it. And yeah, maybe they shouldn't. Maybe, like, the thing is, kids nowadays have access to online payments. They probably have stuff that are linked to their parents' credit cards that they can use for stuff that their parents may or may not know. And yes, we won't get into whether it's good or bad parenting. Like, parenting is a lot different for people now with technology than it was when we were growing up. Like, our parents could figure out what we're doing a lot more easily than they can now. So not even going there, but I don't feel like kids should be able to do this without, like, I don't think they should be able to do it, period. It's something like, I don't care. I'm not saying breaking shouldn't be done. If people legally want to do it, but I think we're heading down that road, like daily fantasy sports, where this is all going to work itself out at a state level. You're going to have to be in a state that allows it, like you do with that. If you want to play on FanDuel or DraftKings, you have to be in a state that allows it. And I think that's where we're going to head with the breaking.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that in one of our video comments before too. I really could see it coming down to where, for the longest time, even trying to do the little redraft leagues on RT Sports that we enjoy doing, we couldn't. I actually had a buddy of mine. I had a buddy of mine who lives in DC buy me 3 teams on my account because it wasn't legal in Pennsylvania to do so. And I want to mention one thing before EP goes. Does this have anything to do, Mike, with your kids charging a lot to that Uber account?
My kids are grown.
Wasn't that something that happened? Was it Sophia?
It happens all the time. It's ongoing. Every weekend. Yes. Last weekend there were 3 charges. I found out 2 of them were Liam because the subway was not working or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Not working.
Yeah.
Very amorphous. The subway wasn't working. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
It was just like, when you sign up for the DFS Daily Fantasy Sports, you have to be 18 years old. Like, all that stuff, and you have to, like you said, like there are different rules. You have to be in a certain state, and they have that set up. So, and if you try to log in, when you I was in, I think it was in New York. I was on vacation somewhere for like a weekend, and I tried to log into DFS to make changes, and they said, "Ooh, this is not your state. You can't do this." So I could see that kind of stuff being implemented in the future.
So, playing devil's advocate a little bit, and I completely agree with everything we're talking about right now. I'm on the same page as you guys. Can we all agree that buying a box of cards in any way is gambling, because there's no guarantee of what you're going to get. Yeah, guaranteed one auto or whatever, but it really is. Buying wax in general is gambling. It's kind of tough to stop someone from breaking or say they shouldn't break when you can just go on eBay and buy a box and ring up those charges just as quickly, or maybe even quicker, as expensive as unsealed product is. I mean, how are we going to limit? Can you really limit that?
Is it because of, I feel like it's different for me because there's a third party making extra money on it as opposed to just buying the thing. You know, if you buy a box, there's
an added element of risk when you're relying on a third party to be honest with how they're doing it. Like, that's what I see the difference is. Yeah, it technically probably gambling to buy a box of cards, but you're getting something for it, and you're getting it, and you're opening something. You're guaranteed to get that. Whereas, you know, when you're buying with breakers, we all see that you have some people out there. A lot of people do this the right way. They're good, but as with everything, the people that are bad that get into doing stuff ruin it for everybody. And you see again and again and again about people, well, yeah, I hit this, and the person closed their account and kept the card. So kept my money, kept the card. Some of them are like really nice people and they refund their money, but they keep their card. But yeah, I think that added element makes it a little bit different from my perspective.
Also, when you're buying a box, you're never going to go 0 for 19.
Right? I did watch.
I probably would have, I would have spent a lot more money. So I'm not anti-breaking at all. Like, I feel like people should be allowed to do that. Like, there are circumstances. Like, I've hit other cards out of better sets that, you know, you got more cards out of, wasn't as big of a thing. So people want to buy into breaks. I'm totally fine with that. Like, it shouldn't be something that has to be banned. It's just something we talked about 2 weeks ago, needs to be regulated. There need to be rules. Unfortunately, because I know Ziggy No likes to talk about breaking all the time and talk about how it was and stuff. And, you know, he has a very good point about the people policing themselves. But unfortunately, you know, we're in 2023 and it is what it is now. And no matter what good people did before, the other people have gotten into it and infected the whole thing. And unfortunately, it's to the point where it should be. But let's hope that somehow they get this figured out and things can become regulated so people can buy into it and not have to worry about getting ripped off. At the end of the day, that's all I think all of us care about.
So my question is, why do we think TikTok is banning? If you know, why do we think they just woke up one day and
I think there's a legal responsibility that a lot of these companies are going to eventually catch on, that they don't want to. We've already seen PayPal not take money for stuff that were razzes and breaks before. I just found out that like Shopify doesn't allow anybody to sell breaks on their network too. So, I mean, there are legal departments out there. Like, a lot of these places probably don't understand what it is. Like, for a while, we
talk about this.
Yeah, we do. They don't know about our hobby or what stuff is. We're really little in the big picture. And I think, you know, some of them, somebody goes, wait, they do what? And
they're like, look at this.
Somebody in the legal department is like, we can't really do that though. Like, they're paying money and maybe getting or not getting. Isn't that gambling? So I feel like that's probably what it is. You know,
they send out a company-wide email. Someone find a nerd who collects cards. We have questions. Get them down to the legal. We need to know about this breaking thing.
And but I really do think that's what it is. You know, I think it could happen at any time with any other company. I'm not saying the other companies are going to follow, but once one does it, that I think people are involved with YouTube and Instagram are going to be maybe more aware of it and maybe look into it. I don't know what the outcome of that'll be. I'm not going to stand here and say they're going to be next. But
well, that was my next question. I mean, so okay, TikTok said nope, and we know TikTok is not exactly a scrupulous company, right? So if they're willing to say no, what's the next company to say, yeah, we can't do this? Like, I don't know anything about Whatnot. I have no idea what it is. I think it's an auction, like they do auctions and stuff like that. I really don't know. So my ignorance is out in the open here. But at what point is Whatnot, a possibility to say, oh, we can't do this either because it's gambling, and
I feel like they might be the last to do it because like that whole app is built on live shopping. So it's an app that you open up and people are there. It's basically take QVC and put it on an app. Like, you're old, you know what QVC is.
I do.
Home shopping, when they were selling all the cards on there. So like, not just cards, everything on Whatnot. So their whole platform is based around people selling stuff live, auctioning things off. So I tend to think they would probably be the last one because they would lose a lot of revenue if they did it. So again, Whatnot isn't making money off of the breakers that are breaking through there. I mean, I'm sorry, TikTok isn't. Whatnot is. Probably going to make a different decision if you're making money off it or not making money.
Right.
And who knows, at the end of the day, that might be the main reason behind everything. They want a cut. Why should we let all these people make money on our platform if we're not getting any of it? Whatnot is getting a lot of it. So I don't think they'll ever stop it unless they are forced to.
Right. We had we talked about DFS, and then before that it was probably video poker, like online poker. Is there anywhere else that this is happening, like in the not just cards, but like in some other hobby or anything like that? Do you think this is very unique to cards?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, seems like it's probably pretty unique, I would guess.
Right. Well, there's no way to like break a comic book or break shoes. And
I know like there are other hobbies where they do like repack kind of things, like a loot box type of thing. And I know there have been some legality issues with some of the payment processors and stuff with that type of product. So I would imagine there probably is like the repack thing is just terrible. Like we all know that crap goes in there and probably counterfeit stuff and altered stuff. And, it's a way for people to move stuff that they would otherwise not be able to move. So, but I think you probably have a similar thing to repacks in all other kinds of collectibles. So I would think there probably is some kind of a connection there.
You made a good point, Mike, about how, it's because they're not getting their taste, right? TikTok's not getting their taste of this, might have been the reason that they're pushing to ban, if that is in fact what they're doing, right? They're pushing to ban this. I mean, I see folks go on YouTube and I've seen people do like live sales. I don't know if people do breaks, but I've seen cards and comics sold on YouTube. We've sold cards on Twitter. There's all these other platforms. At what point did they see all this transacting taking place and say, "Whoa, you can't be doing this kind of stuff on our platform. We need it. We need a taste of this." I mean, companies aren't out there just to be good, and let people do what they want to do. At some point, they want to try and get some of that cheddar cheese. When's that come to a head?
Who knows? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. I feel like though, like with Whatnot, they offer the payment service through there. So I feel like if a app or some kind of social media network wants to do it, they need to have that in place. So I don't know, like the other option is banning stuff. I don't know.
Right.
But then too, like, I mean, Twitter, my God, everything is an ad on every post now. So maybe Twitter doesn't, because they want the people there. They don't want the people to go.
The traffic is more important.
I mean, we've all seen since Elon's bought it, like how much it's changed. And like literally every time you click on a tweet, there's an ad, like one or two comments down. So I don't know. I feel like Twitter probably doesn't want to do anything to lose more users right now, but
that's probably a good point.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on a little bit here. Last week, we were very complimentary to Topps. We were very positive about Fanatics taking things over. What do they do this week? They send out a product, Bonus Best Baseball, that has refractors that are not refractors. Apparently, a lot of the base cards have refractor written on the back of it that they're not refractors. I mean, probably not that huge of a story, but since we were so complimentary last week, I feel like we have to call them out for this. Like, pretty bad look. You just have a big event, you're getting everybody psyched about the hobby, and the first thing you release, you do that. EP.
I mean, it's a 2022 product, so I just was looking. The Bowman Heritage is supposed to release, I think, next week or the week after, and that product was delayed. It's supposed to be the 2021 product, and it never came out. And now it's going to be coming out this year, and I'm assuming that there are probably going to be all the same issues that we've had, because there's foil and chrome stuff in there. So I won't be surprised at all if there's more stuff in there. So who knows how long Bowman's Best was sitting around. But again, my thought, I wonder if it was like they don't care, or if somebody was like looking at it and it's like, oh god, all these cards have refractor on the back. Like, because somebody probably realized that it's like
somebody had to know, right?
Yeah, it's like somebody had to realize this. Oh, this is gonna go out. They all have refractor on the back. Why do they all have refractor on the back?
I'm gonna get fired now. A year ago I would have been fine, but now they're gonna get me. They're finally gonna get me.
Ruben is gonna come and get me himself. He's gonna fire me himself. Is it Ruben
again,
or
Frank?
Rubens?
Again.
Is it Ruben?
I didn't notice. What?
Is it Ruben or Rubens?
Ruben.
No S. Yeah.
Ruben.
No S.
Okay.
Ruben, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were very complimentary. And then this, I mean, do you think all the cards were supposed to be refractors? It's like it's like that Bowman Reserve product from the 90s where every card was a refractor and it was awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not a great look. I mean, you kind of want to give them a pass because, like EP said, this was product from last year. A little bit of a pass. Fanatics, a little bit of a pass, not Topps. But again, you own the company.
Yeah.
And we've been preaching quality control and we
forever.
Slam Panini for it all the time. You know, it's like, yeah, it sucks that maybe they'd have to reprint and take a bath on some of this product if they went out and said, "Oh, these all say refractor. We can't send this out," because they're
never going to make that decision.
They're never going to make that decision because guess what? People will still buy it. People don't care. It's all screwed up. Oh, it's an error card. You know, like people will rationalize. They'll rationalize it in their head and be like, "Oh, this is kind of cool how it's different. It's not a refractor, and it says so."
Yeah. They don't do that every year.
20 years from now, someone's going to be going through their stuff like we were and being like, "It says refractor, but it's not a refractor. This must be something special." And then they go to the next card. Wait a minute. They all say it. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Imagine Frank walking into his boss's office saying,
"Poor Frank.
They all say refractor on the back. We need to reprint them. We printed 180,000 boxes worth. We're not reprinting them."
Right.
You know what that would cost? We're not doing it.
No. And these people will buy them anyway. So just send them out. What do we care?
All right. Well, we had our big 8 questions last week with Chris Sewell. And where is he located?
He is in the Netherlands.
He's in the Netherlands. Strangely enough, we have him on from the Netherlands. Then PSA announces that they're going to open a submission center in the Dave and Adams in the Netherlands. Here we are affecting the hobby again. How crazy is this?
Global reach.
Crazy.
Global
we
reach.
talk about breaking,
three of us.
and then TikTok bans breaking. We have Chris Sewell on, and then PSA says, "You know what? We should open a submission center. I didn't know people collected cards over there." Yeah. So they're going to have a kiosk inside of Dave and Adams where people over there can submit their cards, and they still ship them over here to grade them because they don't have any. They should just have Chris go over everything.
Right? Exactly.
They should hire him, have him take care. I'd send my cards over there.
Yeah, I would trust the grades a little bit more if Chris Sewell was grading them. First off, if you haven't gone and watched that 8 questions, please go check it out. Chris is awesome. He's going to shout us out on his channel tomorrow. So hopefully that gets that video some more views. But we talked to him for about an hour, guys. And he was just really, really cool to talk with. But yeah, he mentioned that Dave and Adams were opening up in the Netherlands while we were talking to him, and we were kind of shocked by that. And then all of a sudden, then PSA's like, boom. "Oh, Dave and Adams is there. We need to put a submission center in there." It's nice because the big thing that really sucks for people who are overseas is shipping costs, right? So I'm guessing it's much cheaper for them to then submit through Dave and Adams in the Netherlands, and then they probably take a bulk amount and they spread the shipping across a bunch of people. I mean, they are socialist over there in the Netherlands, so they're just spreading the cost to everyone and then sending it over here. But yeah, it's great. I mean, they have the ability now to take submissions, not run through hundreds of dollars. The amount of shipping costs I see on things from overseas on eBay is crazy. I can't even imagine sending something to Canada is ridiculous. I can't imagine trying to send, could you imagine sending 500 card submission to PSA for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of insurance and all that stuff? It's nice to have it now in one central location. You can drop it off. And it's PSA authorized, Mike. It's not like Dave and Adams is a third party, it's
actual PSA.
It's actual PSA. So you don't have to worry about some of the issues that have come up with, group submitters and things like that.
Yeah, because that happened recently. What was the name of the company that screwed all those people over there? So
weren't they called PSA UK or something? They were calling themselves.
But they weren't. They were affiliated, PSA. But they weren't PSA. So pretty good idea for the people over there.
I feel like it's another hobby business kind of testing the waters. I wonder if things really ramp up for that PSA submission place. I could see them either opening a full facility over there or something. I mean, that's smart business.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, moving on here. Wanted to get your opinion on this one. I know you guys like football a lot. You like football cards, don't you? Okay. Pre-order. Yeah, that was pretty bad. But speaking of that, at least you didn't pay $725 to $750 like the pre-sales for 2022 Prizm football. Are you in? Do you have any pre-ordered?
I'll tell you what, 2 years ago, someone said Prizm was going to be $750. How many people would have jumped on that thinking that they were getting one hell of a deal? I mean, it's ridiculous. And no, I am not. We were talking about the Fleer Ultra Avengers I opened last night. You know what the difference is between sports cards and non-sports cards? I spent $700 on 2 boxes, which is about the cost of a box of Prizm. But I didn't feel like shit afterwards. I felt like, oh, this was kind of fun. This was fun. I got some cool cards. The artwork's awesome. The collation was great. I felt good about that. I opened up a box of Prizm for $700 to $750. I'm going to feel terrible. I'm going to feel, my stomach is going to feel a little queasy. I'm going to have to take a nap afterwards. I'm going to have to reassess my life choices. Yeah, you can't
imagine buying a box of wrestling. That was even more.
For more than that. Yeah. I can't imagine. I mean, at least you had us to make fun of you the whole time.
So it was good content.
Good television right there. But I am not pre-ordering any of that.
I feel like football is one of the worst. Breaking a box of football is one of the worst investments you can make. I think baseball is probably the best. Basketball is also really, really good. And hockey, they have a product, they have a lot of prospects and prospecting, that sort of stuff. Where football, who the rookies are going to be right away, and pretty much there's very, very rare when a rookie breaks out after the rookie season. You know what I mean? And I feel like the shelf life of football isn't very much. And so with the prices the way they are, it just feels like it's just really bad idea right now to buy football.
You guys know I love Kenny Pickett. You know I do. He's my boy. I really, really love Kenny Pickett. He's the best prospect in this product.
Brock Purdy,
yeah.
Brock Purdy. Wow, way to step on my line, boys. But okay.
You threw out there that he was the best.
Yeah, I was going to. Once Purdy screwed up his elbow, he's done. He's toast. But I was going to say it's pretty bad when your second best prospect is a guy who was taken last in the draft or best, whatever, who was taken last in the draft and played for a team that I could have thrown for 4,000 yards on. But really, I mean, who's out there? Who's in this product that you're paying $750 a box for? I mean, joking aside, when you are excited about getting a Brock Purdy card, that ain't great. No. You know, like, and yes, it was a great wide receiver class. It was a great running back class. No one collects them. Okay. People PC them for sure, but the value is not there for $750 in a box. You need to hit a very, very low numbered Kenny Pickett and, joking aside, Brock Purdy at this point. I mean, who else is there? Malik Willis. I mean, maybe
Desmond Ritter.
I was going to say the guy from the Falcons, maybe Desmond Ritter is someone worth going after, but like it's just not worth it. And that's, by the way, if there was another quarterback or maybe a couple of quarterbacks in this class, you know, Kenny Pickett or above, this product would be $1,000. It's only $750 because the class is so bad.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. The problem with football is people only assign value to quarterbacks. Like, how can we sustain $750 boxes of cards when you're only looking at one position, and we know that the players in that draft at that position really aren't all that special right now? So, like, how in the world does that stay a $750 product? Like, in the normal world, and this is where I want to go with this, like back in the old days, if you had something that was high and people in it weren't getting any value because there was nobody to get that was valuable, the price would drop. That's how normal supply and demand work. Our industry has something that artificially inflates prices called breaking. These products are not made, again, I said about the wrestling, they're not made for the collector. Like, they're made for the breaker.
Right.
It's all about them selling break spots because they're buying all the product. The manufacturers are making the product for the breaker. This product would drop to $200 a box or less in no time if it were just people who were going to buy it to collect. There's no value to be had out of it that is anywhere near the amount that they're charging. But because of breaking, it's going to stay up, right?
Yeah. Like, this is something that you would have on your shelves for, like, if you had it in your store, like, you would sit on your shelves and you were like, I cannot move this, so I'm going to mark it down.
It's like $150 product, probably, realistically.
Yeah.
Breaking out of the equation.
Yep.
I'd walk into the store and Mike would be like, you know, Kenny Pickett is in this product. Joe, you should buy some. And I'd be like, whoa, he's in a Steelers uniform. I could give two shits about that. Yeah. And I'm wondering, I haven't watched many current breaks of football products from this year. I wonder with how there's the value is really only with the Steelers or the AFC North, you know, again, with Purdy, I guess is the next guy, but I can't imagine breakers are doing anything but selling random spots. Like, could you imagine like how hard it would be to sell like because when they sell them by team or by division, like usually there's a few players, like, you know, the AFC East a couple of years ago with Mac Jones and Wilson, and then you had the AFC South with Lawrence, and then the NFC North with Fields, and what, you know, there were multiple divisions, multiple teams. With this, with it being very, very quarterback centric, and only really one to two really good investment quarterbacks, it'd be tough to sell those on their teams. It'd be tough to sell those on their spots or divisions. So I wonder if there's been more randoms out there than just straight up selling these teams.
I would, if they were $150 or $200 a box, I'd probably buy a box.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Same.
Like, even though the class isn't great, like, it would be cool to open like the Prizm and see the different colors, and, you know, but not $750.
No, not at all.
What do you think next year's Prizm is going to be? Because You've got, I was going to say, you've got CJ Stroud, you've got Bryce Young, you've got Levis. There's a couple of other, the kid from Florida. I mean, there's a couple of quarterbacks in this class that are going to go in the first round. I'm very curious if it's $750 for Kenny Pickett and Brock Purdy. What's it going to be for an actual quarterback class? You got to be thinking $1,500, right?
Probably 12 to 15 wouldn't surprise me at all. Yeah. It is crazy. And like, again, the whole only giving value to quarterbacks. Come on, whatever. That's the dumbest thing about.
And that's new. People don't realize that that's new. I remember back when you had the shop, Mike, you had Edgerrin James. People were all about Ricky Williams. We're talking about the 99 class. At 2000, Sean Alexander, Jamal Lewis, people cared about running backs, I think, more than probably not as much as quarterbacks. Quarterbacks were still a little bit higher, but the running backs were right there. And that has running backs are almost the least valuable. It's like defensive players and running backs kind of are in that same value. And then wide receivers have a little bit more of a premium, but it's like quarterbacks are up here.
You have to be Jamar Chase's rookie year.
Justin Jefferson. Chase and Jefferson.
And like, you would think people would be searching for more value in football, like especially this year. Like Brock Purdy, come on. The guy really wasn't good before he got hurt. He was in a good spot, didn't really play anybody tough, didn't look very good against Dallas, who had a good defense, didn't look like he was doing anything against Philly before he got hurt. Like, I don't know. You would think when the quarterbacks aren't there, people would try to look for other value, but they just don't care.
Well, that's what Panini's hoping for, because they're charging $750 a box. And even my boy Kenny Pickett, I mean, he's best case scenario, he's Alex Smith. I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's not someone who's going to, but in all seriousness, I mean, he's not someone who's going to lose many games for you, but he's not going to come back from 28 down and win games for you. Like, he's not a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert. So spending that kind of money, you need to find value elsewhere, and there just isn't.
All right, gonna end the podcast this week with a little crime and punishment. I left the pause in there so I could put some music, dramatic.
Put a little Law and Order. Boom, boom.
Gotta have that. But yeah, we like to cover this a little bit to let people know that, scamming people, bad. Just bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. There was an 82-year-old Colorado man, 82 years old, Mayo Gilbert McNeil, good old Mayo there. He was charged. Yes, Mayo, like the condiment. Mayo Gilbert McNeil. That's a good name.
What's it with people with MGM. 3 names? They're like serial killers.
He's MGM. MGM. Called him MGM, right?
MGM.
But anyway, he was charged for selling $800,000 in fake cards and fake slabs, including 2 PSA 10 Michael Jordans that were in fake slabs that were fake cards that, he just found people online and sold them the fake stuff. And, think of how much of this probably happens. Like, this is really kind of the underbelly of the hobby we all know is there, but I feel like it's probably worse than we realize.
Did this 84-year-old guy make all this stuff himself?
82-year-old
guy.
I don't know who made it. Probably not, but I don't know. Maybe he had a former roommate over in another country that printed it for him. His dad owned a printing company. I don't know.
That's what we call a callback in the industry.
Yep. So, but like, with the fake slabs, like, is there anything the grading companies can do? Like a PSA, like, I'm not saying the grading companies aren't trying to protect their slabs and make it harder to counterfeit, but seems like the counterfeiting people are able to do a good enough job to fake people out and scam them.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy too, because there's so many people out there who are just, they just don't know any better, like, and it's so difficult if you think about it to, like, some of these fakes are really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what's someone supposed to, what are you supposed to do a lot of the time, because they're taking the cert numbers that of these actual cards. If they're savvy enough, I'm guessing Mayo was savvy enough to fool a bunch of people, but they're taking cert numbers off of other cards and they're using them. So, it's really, really difficult. And, social media gets my feathers in a huff on a regular basis. Okay. My new catchphrase.
Another callback. Awesome.
Callback. But social media does, for the most part, is a terrible thing. But in cases like this, and we see a lot of it, people calling out things like this on social media. A lot of it gets, legs through Twitter, through YouTube, through Facebook, and people calling out a lot of these bad actors. Mayo probably could have gotten away with this 15 years ago, like scot-free 15 years ago. But people start calling things like this out, which is good. It's one of the few good things about social media is you can throw out those bad actors.
I want to say, if you're 82 and doing this, you've probably been doing it, and
you've probably been doing it for a long time, right?
A long time.
Yeah.
Probably 30, 40 years.
He should have stopped doing it when he
just couldn't help himself. Yeah.
You know what? I'm 80. I've made enough money doing this. I'm gonna retire now.
Right, exactly.
How much is enough? Well, Mayo's not the only one. We have a second case here too. Guy named Kyle Bertrand of New York State. He reached a plea deal. I think we may have talked about this situation before, but I'm not sure. Reached a plea deal, pleading guilty to wire fraud for scamming people out of $33,000. And he was scamming as both a buyer and a seller. He was buying product from other companies and then charging back on his credit card. And then he was also selling stuff to people and sending them empty boxes. So he was facing wire fraud and mail fraud charges, but he pled guilty to the wire fraud. I mean, these are federal charges. People need to understand too. When you're scamming people, your local cops aren't going to show up at the door. The FBI is going to show up at your door, and they're going to take you away and charge you under federal crimes. Yeah. So he's facing a maximum of 20 years in prison and $200,000 fine. Typically, I guess they get 21 to 27 months and $2K to $20K, but still, he is, by pleading guilty, still facing up to 20 years. But yeah, like, this is real. Like, you think you're just pulling something for whatever reason. I don't think a lot of people involved in the hobby that are scamming other people truly realize how big of trouble they can get into. Like, I don't want the FBI showing up at my door because I ripped somebody off on a card.
What I'm hearing from Mike is, if you're going to scam someone, make sure you don't send it through the mail and get cash. I mean, you gotta, so you don't get the restaurant. Yeah, you gotta sell it in person and get cash for it. You can't. Sarcasm, everyone. This is I'm
taking a beating today.
You are. But I mean, it's
53-year-old Pennsylvania
man. At the front of the segment, it said the Law and Order sound effect. I mean, this is beyond Law and Order. They're just local cops. This is FBI Wednesdays or whatever the CBS the shows are. But like, if you're sending stuff through the mail, people, there is a really good chance that it's a federal crime if you're trying to scam someone. And I'm glad they got this guy. And these poor people who are like going out there and buying something that they really want, they're laying the money out there just to get scammed. And we talk about this all the time when we talk about, how to buy products. And I think we're going to be doing a video on this, but like, use eBay. I mean, if you're going to buy something big, there's a lot of times that there's a lot of safety in using.
If you're messaging with somebody on social media, they're giving you a deal that seems too good to be true.
It is.
Absolutely
is.
Come on, people. You know it. You know it. Just don't fall for it.
And it doesn't matter if someone has 10 followers or 1,000 followers. I mean, it doesn't matter. They could all be bots. They could all be
Drew's
fake accounts.
Cards guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
He was a big person on Twitter, and he's in jail now, federal prison, for screwing people over too. So yeah.
You can't. In the words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, DTA, man, don't trust anybody. You know, like you have to be vigilant as a buyer.
No. Trust us.
Trust us. Yeah.
Don't trust anybody
else other than us.
DTA be you. Don't trust anybody but us.
Yeah.
I feel like the guy with the $33,000 guy with the sending the empty boxes. I feel like that was another case where that wasn't his first. This isn't his first rodeo.
That's not his first rodeo.
Yeah, he's been doing this. Going back to like just one conversation ago with your point, Mike, about don't trust, like, if it sounds too good to be true, don't trust it. Like, and the PSA slabs, like, people are taking the little holograms that are supposed to be the thing that makes them proof. They're taking them out of like other slabs and putting them in slabs that they reseal to make it even more genuine, like make it look more real. And the scammers are going to continue to be like one step ahead, and then we're going to hear about them getting caught, but they're going to consider like it's going to continue. So yeah, just.
I hear you saying is stop sending in cards to PSA that are worthless to get graded, because you're helping the scammers get away with stuff, because they're not going to break a $2,000 slab to take it out, but they're going to break a $5 one.
Oh, I thought you were saying, so what EP's telling you to do is send cheap slabs so you can get the stickers.
So Mike can get the stickers.
So Mike can get the stickers and just start slapping stuff.
3 slabs cards.
A bunch of drive-bys on Mike today. But
I can pull the plug at any time.
What the grading companies really do need to do is, and I think PSA is starting to do it, SGC is doing it, high-res photos of the pictures. It's not foolproof, but if you see a card, there are some things on cards. There are flaws. There are certain defects on a card that you can tell looking at 2 different cards, one that's on PSA's registry and one that some guy named Mayo on Twitter is willing to sell you. Always check the cert number. That's number one. And then if there is a picture, try and compare the pictures on those websites, PSA's website versus the picture you're getting from Mayo, and try and determine if it is legit. There are certain things you can tell. Blowout Cards does a lot of stuff, showing some of those differences, but like, it's not Blowout Cards. It's someone shows a lot of those differences with some of that fake stuff.
All right. Well, again, just don't do it. Don't do it.
And be a vigilant buyer too. Really be a vigilant buyer.
It seems like so much work to scam.
$800,000 might be worth it. I mean,
what I'm hearing from Mike.
No, it's not me.
EP, you could quit that job of yours and you could just start scamming.
People are out there working a lot harder than that to make like $1 legit on a card on eBay. So I'm just saying, 800,000.
The thing about making $1 on
that's that the government card knows about.
The thing about $1 a card, like the FBI is not going to come banging on your door. So,
but now they are. Now they are. That comment.
So what EP is saying is he's ripping people off selling dollar cards. Okay,
it's like
that's a good place to end for the week.
Counterfeit dollar bills instead of 20s is what EP's saying.
That's what he's doing. Well, all right. I don't really know what to add to that, so I think we're gonna wrap it up there. That was pretty entertaining, even though you guys took your shots at me the whole episode. I don't know. I'm not sure we'll be back next week. I might have 2 brand new people here with me. We'll see. Make sure you tune in. But other than that, take care, guys. Good chat.
See you, boys.
Adios.